My God is strong. He'll do anything big or small. Nothing is impossible for a super wonderful God. Every day I can know God is always there for me and my family. Every day I can know greater is the one who lives inside me. Super big, super strong, super wonderful God. Super big, super strong, super wonderful God. Our God is strong. He'll do anything big or small. Nothing is impossible for a super wonderful God. Every day I can know God is always there for me and my family. Yeah, every day I can know greater is the one who lives inside me. Super big, super strong, super wonderful God. Super big, super strong, super wonderful
Hello, and thank you for joining us for week 3 of our Unlikely Heroes series, where all summer long we are learning about people in the Bible that God used to be a part of his story. And these are people that we wouldn't always think of as being heroes, or we wouldn't even choose to be the hero of the story if we were writing the story. Well, today's hero might be the most unlikely of them all. And if not the most unlikely, he's definitely one of the most unlikely. And you know why? It's because he was actually a real life villain. He was a bad guy. He was an enemy of Christians, but God saved him in a really miraculous way and changed his entire life. He even changed his name. He went on to tell many people about God. In fact, we're still reading his words today because he wrote a lot of the New Testament. You might have an idea who we're talking about, so let's go on to our message and find out who it is.
Stories of the Bible. Paul. This is Saul. Saul was a Pharisee who hated the followers of Jesus so much that he would hunt them down to be brought to trial in Jerusalem. And he would even seek to murder them. Saul was uttering threats with every breath, and he was eager to kill the Lord's followers. So he went to the high priest. He asked him to write a letter to the Jews in Damascus that would allow him to arrest any Christians he found there. He wanted to bring them, both men and women, back to Jerusalem in chains. Now Saul went on his way, and as he came near Damascus, a light from heaven flashed around him, and he heard a voice that said, "Saul, Saul, why are you persecuting me?" Saul cried out, "Who are you, Lord?" And the voice said, "I am Jesus. Rise and go into the city, and you will be told what to do." So Saul got up and he opened his eyes, but he couldn't see anything. So the men who were with Saul led him into the city. After 3 days, a man named Ananias came to Saul. He put his hands on Saul, and immediately Saul could see again. And with that, Saul became a follower of Jesus. He became the very thing he had tried to hunt. And he immediately began telling people that Jesus is the Son of God, and he taught them about the mercy of God that he had received. And all who heard him were amazed. He then went by a new name, Paul, as he began preaching not just to the Jewish people, but to everyone, despite many difficulties like being imprisoned, shipwrecked, and narrowly escaping death multiple times. Paul continued to preach about Jesus. Paul said that he would do everything he could to save people and help them know God. And that's just what he did in order to reach people who would otherwise be unreached. And many came to know Jesus because of what Paul said. Paul taught many in his day through his letters, but even more have come to learn more about Jesus through the letters of Paul that can be read even to this day.
Paul really was an unlikely hero, and I love that God used him in such a big way. And like I said earlier, he's still using his words today. There's one thing that I think we can learn from Paul today, and that's this. He knew how to listen to the Holy Spirit. He was very sensitive to God's Spirit. You guys, I pray that every single one of you learns how to listen to God's voice and listen to the Holy Spirit, because he will lead and guide us just like he did for Paul. Well, I'm so happy that you joined me today, and I'll see you next time. Bye.